So on the phone with me today, a brand new Trop Rock artist. Really, actually not brand new. Maybe just brand new to me. But I've run across some of this guy's music, and I was like, got to get him on my show. Please, everybody, give a big warm welcome to the Reverend TJ. How are you, sir?
Renee, I'm doing fantastic. The only thing that would make this day better is if instead of sitting here in my home in Indiana, I was on the phone sitting out in front of Rick's on Duval Street.
Oh, well, okay, I get it. It would probably, everybody wants that same thing, probably.
Oh,
so,
yes.
All right, so I know that you came to me and you have a part in the Trop Rock world that I didn't even know about, and I wanted to share your story. So let's start with how did you get into being a musician and all of that first, and then we'll get into how you became the Trop Rock guy that you are.
Sure. I am actually a third-generation performer in my family. My grandparents and my mother in the 1950s toured all over the Midwest in what was called Jack Xylophone Band. And this was back in the day. Of course, there was very little on TV. Everything was a radio or you went and saw it in person. So it was a big deal when this show would come into your town. They'd play a local auditorium or a high school gymnasium. She even was a performer, or got to perform, I should say, at the Grand Ole Opry in 1954. So it's one of those things that ran in my family and was just kind of very natural. I was always the little one that would stand up in front of family gatherings, group gatherings, and try to entertain everybody. So it just kind of came very natural. Picked up guitar, and of course, what young boy doesn't want to be a rock star at some point in their life?
Awesome. Okay, so which brings you into your music, and you play all kinds of things, right? But I want to talk about your Trop Rock influences and how did that all start up?
Interesting story. I had done the rock and roll thing, electric guitars, lots of distortion, all that, and probably about 15 years ago, I kind of said, you know what, this is just not working out. So I decided to go get the real job route. And fast forward to 2019, my wife and I made a last minute decision to go to Key West. First time we'd ever been there, short of a cup of coffee off a cruise ship. And as we're doing like most people do, we're walking up and down Duval Street just to soaking up some of that energy and that culture. And well, of course, anybody's been down there knows you can't walk 10 feet without hearing live music. And a majority of it is just a guy or a gal sitting there with a guitar singing, and it just was really inspiring. And I'm looking at this going, this is what music is supposed to be about, helping people have a good time, helping them, forget about the problems in their life a little bit. And it really inspired me. Came back home, dusted off a couple of the old instruments, and decided that I did not want to be the next person to stand up on stage and play another Tom Petty song or another Green Day song. I figured, there's nothing wrong with that whatsoever. But there's just so many people doing that. I thought, I'm going to do something a little different. I want to play music that gets me excited and that touches my soul. And then also I think that people would want to hear that they know it, but you just don't hear anybody playing it. So I decided to play some of my favorite Jimmy Buffett songs, and that kind of led me down the whole Trop Rock avenue as I started exploring more music that I wasn't super familiar with, like Kenny Chesney, Zach Brown, some of the more well-known national artists. And of course, as I've gotten deeper into it, listened to Radio Trop Rock and some other things. I've certainly discovered a lot more music, but it just, as I got deeper and deeper into it, it just spoke to me. It made me feel good. When I perform it, I saw how other people reacted to it, and it just became clear this is what I want to do. And when I started writing, it just came very natural that these were the themes and the thoughts that were bouncing around inside of my head.
Wow. Okay, so you also have a connection to, because you're in Indiana, to our very own Sherry Hatzel. Tell us about that.
Yes. Oh my gosh, Sherry has been like a fairy godmother to me, and I say that with the utmost admiration. I had started playing at a little bar in the town I grew up in, which is Speedway, Indiana, which is a suburb of Indy. It's where the Indianapolis Motor Speedway is located. And I thought, I've got all these great songs. At that time, most of it was just pretty much Buffett songs. And it's like, I got to find an audience for this. So I approached one of the little local bars there and said, hey, I'd like to host a Margarita Monday here. I'll come play for free. I would like the stage time and see if I can't, get some kind of a following of other people that like this kind of music. So I'd reached out on Facebook to the Cindy Parrothead Club in Indianapolis and said, hey, if I was to do this, is that something you guys think you might be able to support? Well, about 24 hours later, I got a message from Sherry asking me if I would come perform for the group there at National Margarita Day. And it just kind of took off from there. She said, hey, if you start writing songs and stuff, I'll help you, get in front of the right people and what have you. And that's kind of how I discovered Radio Trop Rock. And, that just this whole, I call it the best kept secret in music, because if you're not familiar with it, you would have no idea it existed. But if you run into another fan,
right.
all the same people, all the same, shows and programs and personalities.
It's amazing how, like, even when I came into the Trop Rock world, like, I didn't know that it was this big or existed the way it did, right? And so, as you're right. It's really the untold story, the secret, and it's really
exactly.
It's kind of not though. But if you're talking to us, like, I might not say us, like we're like a big, team of people or something. But if you're talking to somebody, like, I can talk to the people that I've known my whole life, and they still don't understand what a Trop Rock is. Then you have to go like this, Jim Buffett type music, Zach Brown type of music. Oh yeah.
I know what you're talking. And then they start rattling off artists, and you're like, you know exactly what it is.
You know exactly what I'm talking about, right? You are a parrot head, and you didn't even know it. Yeah, it's so funny. But that's exactly how it works. So, so you do have a lot of very cool songs out there. You do, and I really wanted to get you on my show to be able to share that with and new artists. Of course, you haven't been in front of our people, as if we're again a team. You haven't been in front of enough parrot heads yet, and maybe this will help push through. But you definitely are exactly the type of person that we want to see out there at all these music festivals. So,
thank you so much.
Your music out. Yeah, we're going to link your music out here. We're going to play something now, of course, and then we're going to continue to play you, and then maybe you're going to get on some of these festivals within 2026, and we get to see you live. But prior to that, I want you to tell me about the newest single that's coming out, and do name drop a few of the other titles. You're so funny. Go ahead.
Sure. Well, the song that we're dropping right now is called "I was High at the Garden of Eden," and that refers to the world famous Garden of Eden clothing optional bar in Key West. And if you're familiar with it, you know exactly what I'm talking about. But for your listeners that maybe haven't made the trip down to Key West yet, there's this beautiful building at the corner of Duval Street and Caroline. Beautiful brick building, or I should say stone building. I have no idea when it was built, but it's certainly been there for decades. It's one of those cool old buildings, no air conditioning, 3 different levels with 3 different bars. But the very top, on the rooftop, is the Garden of Eden, and it is clothing optional. So literally you walk up there, and there may be anywhere from 1 to 40 people standing around naked, nudists, nothing sexual about it. It's just people that enjoy being nude. So the song
it's true. I went up there on accident.
Which is how that's kind of the joke. When you take your friends down there, you don't tell them what it is, and you send them up the stairs first. It's no elevator. They got to walk up the stairs. You go, hey, go ahead. I'm right behind you.
That's exactly what happened to me. Yeah, no one mentioned it. And I was like, wait a minute. Wait. Oh, no. Turn around. Anyway, okay, go ahead. Sorry.
So no worries. I have a dear friend of mine that's a little uncomfortable around nudity, and knowing this, I thought this ought to be fun. There's some legal cannabis products available all over the Florida Keys. So I thought this would be fun. Let's get my buddy high, and I'm going to take him up the Garden of Eden and have a few laughs. And the song kind of revolves around from the perspective of a guy that's not really sure what he's getting himself into, and is a little buzzed and walks up and kind of gets caught up in the moment.
That's great. It's a great song. We're going to play it. That's funny. What are some of the, not to stray from this one, but what are some of the other titles you were telling me of some of your other songs?
We just laid down the scratch track yesterday for a song that I'm really excited about, and will probably be the second single. It's called Last Call Sandbar. We've got another song that was inspired by the bar stools at Captain Tony's. It's called Tiki Bar Stool. I've got another song called Let's Get Some Sunscreen on the Sheet. And I've got another song called Let's Get Naked, Swim in the Ocean. And these are all going to be on the EP that's going to be coming out here this fall.
And these are all titles, people, that we would love to hear. I'm not even kidding. I'm just the titles of your songs. I just laugh. I was like, oh, wow. And they're good. You're produced well. It sounds great. Okay, so this song, the Garden of Eden song, we are going to play here after we wrap this interview up. I'm going to let you introduce it. It's going to be its debut, right? You haven't played it anywhere yet.
Absolutely. Once I found out we were doing this interview and you were interested in the song, I immediately decided that Renee, if I could backtrack real quick, a year and a half ago when I decided to start writing and recording music. I was literally sitting on my lawnmower, and I'm looking out the window right now where I was mowing, listening to Radio Trop Rock. And I thought, man, it would be the achievement of my career if I could get a song played on this station, and it's about to happen. So, Renee, thank you so much for that. But yeah, I even forgot what your question was, but I wanted to make sure I got that in here because I'm so appreciative of what you're doing.
That's so great. Thank you. No, the question was basically about your songs and about your music. Where can we find it after we hear them? Yes.
Okay. If all goes as planned, God willing, and the creek don't rise, everything should be available on Spotify, Apple Music, Amazon, all your favorite places to find your streams. And you should be able to. I'm in the process right now working on a video for this particular song. So we should be available on my YouTube channel as well.
Excellent. Okay, so and I will also put it on my socials as well. So anybody who would like to find more music and more information from the Reverend TJ, it'll be available on my stuff if they can't remember, how to find you. Also, I want to, before we wrap this up, I would like to know if you could please stick around and play the Big Three with me. Now, it's my little game show. It's simply 3 questions. You answer them any way you want. What do you think?
I would love to play that game.
Yeah, no one said no yet, but somebody is going to say no one day. I always kind of
well, it's not going to be me.
Yeah, I'm like, okay. All right, well, here goes. Okay, so the Big Three. The first question that I like to ask the artist to make them very uncomfortable is tell us something about you that we don't know, like something very different, just something we don't know that wouldn't just be out there on your bio or something weird or whatever, something we don't know about you.
Let's see. Well, Okay, here's this. Up until about 2 years ago, I raced high-performance go-karts.
Wait, what? You raced high-performance go-karts?
Yeah, as I mentioned, I grew up in Speedway, Indiana. My father, when he came back from World War II, became deeply involved in the IndyCar series. And, of course, I grew up around race drivers and performers. That's all I've ever really known. My friends' heroes were all stick and ball athletes, and mine all put helmets on and drove cars. And I did that for quite a while, and finally just kind of hung the helmet up about the time the music started to really take off. But, yeah, they're called shifter carts. So if you can imagine a 320-pound go-kart with a dirt bike motorcycle engine on it and a 6-speed transmission, had it up to it at the Mid-Ohio Sports Car Complex, which IndyCar and NASCAR races there, 108 miles an hour at the end of the straightaway before we had to downshift and turn right. And we would do that for races that ran 25 minutes with anywhere from 40 to 80 other carts all doing the same thing at the same time.
Wow, that is a very cool thing to talk about. Okay. All right, well, let me move on. Okay. Good answer. Okay, you passed. Question number 2. What is the most used app on your phone? What do you use the most?
Boy, that would probably be a toss-up between any one of the socials and email. Being in this industry, you kind of live or die by whether anybody knows who you are and then whether they're getting back in touch with you or not after you're trying to book a gig with them. So, yeah, I'm in and out of the Facebook, Instagram, TikTok, and email way too often. Yeah,
I think we all are. We all are. Good. Okay. And the last question, my favorite of all. In your phone, in your opinion, who's the most famous phone number that you have? The most famous person.
Most famous person. That would probably be Tony Stewart.
Okay. Tell us more.
Well, it's Tony from Columbus, Indiana, which isn't too far from here. And my family, through my father, from the mid-1980s till right about 2000, we used to rent the Indianapolis Colts football stadium, which at the time was called the RCA Dome, and we'd put on a big indoor United States Auto Club midget race, which anybody that knows the history of Tony Stewart, he cut his teeth racing USAC sprint cars, midgets, Silver Crown cars, and that was always one of his favorite races to run, even when he moved on to NASCAR. So just kind of being in that community, everybody kind of knows everybody else. And Tony was so gracious with his time. He'd come do a lot of promoting and publicity for that event. It wouldn't charge us a dime from it. He'd fly back and forth from NASCAR events to come up and do this all on his own dime. And
wow.
I haven't talked to Tony in years. Really hadn't had much of a reason to, but I've just still got his phone number in the phone.
We talk about that. Yeah, you have the phone number, and you're kind of like, well, I don't want to misuse it.
Yes. I can call him up and, hey, Tony, what are you doing?
Yeah, exactly. Remember me? You don't? Okay,
hey,
cool. I got your number.
Remember that guy that got you out of that big crowd of people when you were ready to leave? Yeah, that was me.
Right, exactly. He's like, no, I don't. Who are you again? You're like, yeah, okay. But that's still,
yeah, exactly.
You answered honestly and correctly. Very good. All right, well, so before we wrap this up, I'm excited for everybody to hear your new song and your new single. So I want you to introduce it and just give it your best swing. Go ahead.
All right, here we go. Hey, everybody, it's the Reverend TJ, and you are about to hear my brand new song, I Was High at the Garden of Eden, right here on Radio Trop Rock.